All right, so we're going to talk about getting this pressure plate on correctly, and whatever has to be done to assure that it moves in and out straight
and free.
Now, I got a pointing thing. Let me get where's those tiger stripes over here?
They're over on the blue table.
All right, we got those, so I can see what the hell I'm doing. Okay. I just took this one out of the garage. This one looks pretty good.
Yeah, no cracks in it. I was looking at it.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. Okay. Not that we need another one. This is just for illustration purposes. All right. There's a situation that's not in the manuals, and that I don't think a lot of people know about, so I'm going to explain it all right here about how to get all this stuff together. And also, I'm going to talk about what happens when a previous owner didn't get it together correctly and what that can cause for you in the future. All right, now, I got 2 clutch plates here. This is a late model one for 71 and up with the studs that come through. 6 studs come through these plates. This is our early clutch plate. All right, it's a little dirty, a little bent up, but it's good enough for what we're showing here. On this guy, a tooth is always in the center of the hole.
Okay.
All the way around. That's because there's 6 holes and 36 splines. So Harley lines them up so that no matter, as long as you got the studs coming through the big slots or the big holes in the plate, whichever vintage plates you got, they always line up.
Mm-hmm.
Now look at this 70 and down plate. I'm going to put this down. I'm going to put this over it. Maybe be able to see that side a little better. I'm going to line up one of these teeth at 12 o'clock.
Yep.
All right. Now look down here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get some light in there.
I got it.
All right, can you see that?
You can see that they're
Well,
not
hang on. I'm going to turn it over.
Okay.
Right, so we got now our teeth are lined up.
Down here,
supposedly.
Yep. Ah, that's much better.
All right, now you see what you got up here?
Let's see what I got.
So this is the late model, 71 and up, and this is set 52 to 70. Notice that there's one less tooth on this plate. That means instead of having 36 splines for this to go on, we only got 35. That creates a problem with geometry. The problem with geometry is 35 is not divisible by 6 evenly.
Correct.
So in reality, there's only one of these 6 positions that you can put this on. If you want such a spaz. If you look close here, these studs are not coming through the center of those holes. I don't know
No,
if
they're
you're able
not.
to see
Yep,
that.
I can see it right here. I can see this
Okay.
one. This one's off quite a ways.
And what happens is, this, depending on how far you are, see how far off that is?
Sure.
That's one more over. Okay, that's going to be the worst one. This is going to be just like we saw last time. Come on, dude. You can do it. No, that might be the one.
Might be the one.
That might be the one. I'm going to tell you right now if that's the one. That is the one. I'm going to show you how I know that. Anyhow, the book doesn't exactly tell you how to get that thing on there precisely. All right, but there's a method, and I'm going to go over it. Now, if previously somebody didn't put that on precisely and they were off by one, like you saw in the very first time we put it together, what happens is, can you see that hole is all kinds of cattywampus?
Yeah, I can see it's not a round hole.
And that was nice and round?
This is a custom one.
That's not a custom one. What happens is that when they're off, the cup is not in the center.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the stud starts pushing on the cup.
Makes its own center hole.
Makes its own center hole. Now, depending on how long and which version clutch hub you have, you may have a situation where a stud was broken at one time. And those studs break because of this misalignment from being put together incorrectly. if you look at this hub closely on the back side, you'll notice something.
Yeah, I see that. She's broke.
Yeah, that's the top one here. My finger's on it.
Okay.
It's this guy.
Use your finger.
But if you look on this side, they're all about the same height.
Mm-hmm.
This stud is shorter. That was replaced with a different part number.
Okay. Somebody
we're gonna get in there.
That stud was broken.
That stud was broken.
Somebody put the wrong stud in there that was shorter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So now, when the stud breaks, that's when you see this. See all this gouges up shit?
Yeah.
That's when the stud broken.
And rolling around,
around in there. And the outside you'll see.
Gotcha.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, for these clutches I'm going to be talking about here, I'm not going to be talking about, are only going to be late 57 to 70. All right? 52 and 53 used the dry plate kit, the 5-plate clutch. 54 to early 57 used a 7-plate clutch, but it used a different hub and a different drum, and it didn't have a seal in it. Didn't have the seal in the drum that seals on this, right? Yeah, it just has a slinger set up in there. All right, so anyhow, with that out of the way.
Jerry Slinger.
Yeah, Jerry Slinger. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's talk about these hubs real quick. This hub uses this kind of stud.
Okay. So what hub is this?
This hub is late 57 to 63, all bikes.
Okay.
All right, so these studs go in there and they get riveted over, and these studs are the most heaviest duty setup you can get. I don't think I've ever really seen one break. Not the only time I've seen one break is when it was smashed in the box, not on the bike.
Okay.
I saw guys bend them, like that.
So that stud that's something different on the bottom of it here. So
Yeah, that's where the rivet head goes.
That's where you peen it
Yeah,
over.
you see it down there? You see that?
Yeah, I can see that. That's this.
That's the
that piece.
body, yeah.
If I had a pointy thing and an extra hand, I could show that to you.
Asshole. Okay, there's that, and there's that, all right? In case
I
somebody
got
can
you.
see it.
I got it. No, I got it. Listen, not everybody's as smart as you.
All right, so look, so we know that that's the first rendition.
Yep.
Okay, and one of the things, this is the second rendition. All right, this is used 64, 66, all bikes.
Okay.
Now,
So it doesn't use the rivet.
it doesn't use the rivet, it uses this kind of stud. There's the rivet stud,
There's a regular stud.
and there's the
Standard.
the Ash 64 stud.
Okay.
All right. Now, these studs are incredibly prone to breaking right down here if the bike is put together wrong, like out of time.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's why you see this on this hub,
Because they use the...
because it broke, and they probably all I could get with at the time was the later stud, which is this one.
And that one is...
Well, we're gonna get to that
Okay.
right now. Okay. I wish I had what I don't have is a 67 to 69 clutch hub. What they did in 67, when they wanted to use the same casting, when they switched from this guy to this guy, they just changed the core of the casting so that this was taller.
I see that.
All right. The back sides of them are identical as far as heights are concerned. All right. So it was basically the same casting. They just modified it a little bit. Now, in 67, they introduced the electric start, and that had an entirely different clutch setup. All right. And that's for the electric start. Now, I don't have a kickstart one here, but what I'm getting at is that this casting has now been changed. It's no longer like this. This is much deeper.
Gotcha.
All right. So in order to keep some integrity to the clutch hub, this surface, there's our 64 clutch hub. This surface is a 1/4 inch moved out from this surface.
1/4 inch taller, you'll say.
Quarter moved out.
Yep.
The back is moved in.
Yep.
This way's moved out. So this is a totally, and what the factory did is they made both style hubs from the same casting. So if you have a 60, this is an electric start one, but if you have a 67 to 69 CH, you'll have a hub that's set up similar to this with this shallower step here and a deeper step back here. What that necessitated was a shorter stud.
Gotcha.
That's the short stud. That used 67 to 69. Now, this stud, the 64, 66 style, are the ones that are most prone to breaking from abuse. These ones also break, but not as much. Mainly because there's less leverage to snap it off down here. Because when this thing's assembled, this is very close to the bottom like that. We need better lights, don't we? Yeah, what is giving us this freaking shadow? We just suck, that's all.
We don't know what we're doing.
Nah, we're a bunch of fucking bozos.
Bozos on the bus.
All right, and on this Chumley, this thing would be about here.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more
of
leverage to snap it off down there. Okay, so that's what happens if you don't put the thing together right, and you might have had some of these problems that I showed so far. Now, we're going to try to avoid that, and that's how all of this comes to fruition. That's why I had to go through that whole diatribe. Now,
so we're going to talk about timing it?
Yeah, we're going to talk about how to time it.
Time your clutch.
All right, so because we're going to see three different things here. What has to happen is a relationship has to be established at the factory between one of the studs and one of the teeth. All right? And when Harley does that, believe it or not, can you see it?
Hang on a minute.
See the timing mark?
I can see the slash.
That's a timing mark. All right?
There's only one of those.
There's only one of those. Let me see. This one doesn't have a mark. This one has a dot.
Okay.
See it?
I see it.
Okay. This electric start guy. Where is she? Right here.
There it is.
Has a little slot again. A little dash in there. Okay. That's your timing mark, fellas. Now, but don't say anything about that. That mark is the tooth that lines up directly with a stud.
Okay. Got it.
Take a close look at this clutch plate. This clutch plate, these are just expansion slots for the heat. These two holes are not. These are for something totally different. What the deal is, this little hole lines up with a tooth.
Okay.
The big hole lines up with a valley.
Okay.
These holes are in here so that when this pressure plate is tack welded at the factory, I don't have a pressure plate without a clutch disc welded to it. I wish I did. But if you notice, there's 1, 2 punch marks from the punch press when these things are made.
Okay.
Those punch marks have little high spots that come out on this side. And they coincide with these holes. So when Harley welds this pressure plate, tack welds this pressure plate, this steel plate, this pressure plate, they line those two things up, and that's what gives them their timing between these holes and this plate.
Got it.
Okay? So now, what you guys got to know is when you go to put your clutch together, find your timing mark.
Right there.
Okay? And then this guy here, this bigger hole, it's going to be, you're going to line that bigger hole up to the timing mark. And that's how you get your...
Flip that back over. I didn't have the camera all the way on it. Which big hole? What are we talking?
This one.
That hole there. Okay.
Bigger, smaller.
Small hole.
Big hole.
All right, so there's a marked difference. So you're got.
So that big hole, when you find that big hole, that lines up with your timing mark. That gives you your alignment.
So you're dead set. Dead
center. Correct. All right. And if you put your stuff together like that, your studs are not coming through the center, it's because your studs are bent. Okay. So that's what's going to go on there. 66. I don't have the other one. These studs are short. All right. All of that's gone over. All right. Let's call that one done for now, Soshi.